What's going on, everybody? Red Zone Sports Thursday night showdown. It is November the 14th, and we have another good Thursday night game. Will it produce good results? Who knows? We're going to have to find out. So let's jump right into it. We've got the Eagles and we've got the Commanders division game. It's in Philadelphia. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting match. Both of these teams, the defenses, they haven't played, like the Eagles haven't played a lot of very good teams. Neither has Washington. They both had kind of an easier schedule, but two really dynamic offenses. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is proving to be the class of this rookie class, it seems. And I bet that the Bears, who interviewed Cliff Kingsbury, probably are wishing that they would have hired him instead of Shane Waldron. Just saying. He's done a really nice job with that offense. Certainly I don't even think that they have the same amount of weapons as the Bears offense does. But yeah, they've done a really nice job. Philly's kind of picked it back up. A.J. Brown looks like he's nice and healthy. He's going to play. Obviously, we got Devonta Smith. And we've got the big acquisition that they got in the offseason, Saquon Barkley. So I think it's going to be a really interesting slate. The tough part about it is, we'll just go straight to the value. There's no one person where you can land on that's like, oh, yeah, that guy's value tonight. It's going to be really tough. I mean, all these guys are super spread out. You've got Will Shipley, Aeneas Smith, McNichols, Johnny Wilson, Jahan Dotson, who I have no interest in playing, John Bates, Ben Sinnott, De'Ami Brown, Luke McCaffrey, Grant Calcaterra. I mean, these are all guys like 4,000 and below that, who the fuck knows, right? So my advice, if you're playing tonight, is, whatever bankroll you normally play, I don't want you to go outside of that, but I would probably consider playing a few more lineups in just some different areas, just so you can get exposure to whatever random person is down here. But you can also build really good lineups with not going all the way down. I think double kicker is a great option tonight. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring. So if you can get, 6 to 8 points out of both kickers, I think that is much more bankable than trying to get, something out of De'Ami Brown or 6 points out of Grant Calcaterra, right? Because if we look at the projections right now, you've got Zacchaeus at 3,000 at, just around 4 points. Gainwell at 3,200 at 3.7. Calcaterra at 1,000 at 3 points. McCaffrey, 3 points, right? These are just the projections, but it's just to give you an idea that, who the hell knows? As to where, if you look at Zane Gonzalez, right, projected for 9 points tonight, and Jake Elliott projected for 7. So if you can find the money, and you certainly can, to get to those guys, I'm all about it, right? Kickers are just going to go perpetually under-owned on Showdown. People don't like playing them. I have no idea why. But I think tonight is a night where you kind of have to do that. So let's look at some of the ownership right now. It's pretty spread out. At captain, Jalen Hurts is going to be the overwhelming option for everybody. He's coming in at about 32% owned. I think that's just too high. I get it with the tush push and all that stuff. He is negative leverage because of the captain leverage. The Sins are putting him at captain only about 15% of the time, and he's being owned quite a bit more. So he's being owned as captain about 32% of the time, only showing up in the optimal simulations about 15% of the time. Now, that's just the simulations. Take it for what you will. But it's just going to be hard to get to him. He's the most expensive player tonight, going to be the most expensive captain, which is why you're going to see a lot of people playing guys like Luke McCaffrey and Grant Calcaterra. I would rather play some different captains so I don't have to go that low. Jalen Hurts is actually a positive leverage in the flex to the tune of about 10%. So the simulations and the computers are telling us the better option is to play Hurts at the flex, which I actually agree with in this case. Daniels coming in about 26% owned at captain. Saquon Barkley about 19%. I would much rather play Saquon at captain than Hurts or Daniels. Just personally, he's healthy. AJ Brown only coming in about 13%. AJ Brown might be my favorite captain on the slate tonight. Him and Devonta Smith, I'm definitely going to be playing captain lineups with both of those guys. And I'm also going to be playing some Terry McLaurin captain lineups. Those three guys might be my favorite high price captain. I'm probably not going to be getting to any quarterback unless it's Jaden, just because of the rushing upside that he presents. But probably my favorite captain on the slate is going to be Noah Brown. He's coming in at only about 1% owned. He ran almost the same amount of routes as Terry McLaurin last week, and his targets were close. And in a game where you're going to have, a certain amount of, how does Washington beat us if we're Philadelphia, right? They probably say, hey, let's take away Terry McLaurin. And that would probably be a good idea. So if we're going to take away Terry McLaurin, it's going to open up some, spots for some other people. And I think that Noah Brown is probably my favorite person to take advantage of that, as he plays the other side. So if they're going to double cover McLaurin on one side, he's going to go, be playing the other side and be matched up against here. Let's pull up team and let's pull up. I'm on PFF right now, which is not the end all be all, but it's just interesting. So, you're probably going to get mostly Darius Slay on McLaurin. Slay doesn't flip flop too much. If we go to click on, his snaps played, if that wants to open right now, but I just I like Noah Brown quite a bit tonight. I don't think that Olamide Zaccheaus is really that great of an option. He's playing out of the slot, not getting a ton of targets, and they've got Cooper DeJean, who's playing out of the slot, who, when amongst slot cornerbacks, he's a rookie. He's been playing great. He doesn't really have the skills to play outside, but he's been playing fantastic in that corner star kind of joker personnel. Even when they have base, they really won't have him in there. Sometimes it's like a 5 front base that they play, but in their nickel, which I'm sure they're going to be playing quite a bit tonight. Washington also runs a fair amount of 12 personnel, so that's something to kind of keep an eye on as well. But yeah, Slay just plays out wide the entire time. Doesn't really flip-flop a whole bunch. They might travel him a little bit tonight, but again, he also hasn't been the best. He's a 32nd ranked corner this year. Just average. He's been, pretty good against the pass, a little bit better coverage grade than his overall grade. His run defense is absolutely terrible. So that's something to consider there, but I still do like Terry, but I really, really like Noah Brown. He's going to be the guy that I'm going to get pretty different at, especially in the captain spot tonight. Could it work out? Could be an absolute bust, but that's a guy I like getting to. I also like getting to some Brian Robinson. They've shown that when he's in there and on a showdown slate, they've got the tough part about Washington's backfields. They've really got 4 guys. They've got Robinson, they've got Eckler, they've got McNichols, and then they got the other guy who's been playing a little bit as well. What's his name? Anyway, but I like Robinson tonight. No injury designation all week. Missed last week. Probably was more of a precautionary thing. Eckler at his current price is just not playable, in my opinion. $8,000 is just way too expensive for the role that he's going to have. But on the flip side of that, he's only going to be about 15% owned. So if you're playing some larger field stuff, I'm not personally tonight, but if you're chucking some stuff into a really 50, 60,000 entry type of tournament, Austin Eckler should absolutely be an option for you. It's just tough to get to him and make the rest of your lineup look really good. If you're using simulator builds or something like that, they're not going to grade out well whatsoever. So don't have a lot of interest in the defenses tonight. Definitely have a lot of interest in both kickers. I think Dallas Goedert's a really good option, especially in the flex. 6,600, he's a little bit expensive, but he's kind of fully healthy now. I also like Zach Ertz quite a bit. So does everybody else. But, for that $5,600, he's $1,000 less than Goddard. But I like Ertz. If you can't get all the way up to that 6,200 for Noah Brown in my range right there, if we're picking a Washington, would be my preferred. But if you just don't have the salary, I'm fine with playing some Ertz tonight. I'm going to be playing some Ertz. A lot of people are playing McCaffrey just because of his snap count, which I'm going to be getting to a little bit of McCaffrey. I don't know if I'll be matching the field on him, though. He's going to be about 33% owned. I'll probably be well under that. Just being honest, don't have a ton of interest there. I think that Kenneth Gainwell is kind of an interesting option at 32%. It's just one of those things where he really rates out pretty well. And I just kind of like that. Calcaterra at 1,000. Don't know if I can get there. Gainwell is the guy who spells Barkley, right? So like at 3,200, he's expensive, but he is going to get some touches. So that's kind of my whole thing there. John Bates, Jahan Dotson, no. Johnny Wilson, maybe. Aeneas Smith, I think, is probably my favorite option if you need a real punt. That's just kind of the guy that I'm going to down there. He's $800. He's your true punt. Take it with a grain of salt. It's not going to be great. The custom lineups, the builds look like, the 5-1s are going to be the best rated. If we take a look at all the builds, if you go to the projections of everything here, the highest projected player is going to be Jalen Hurts at 26 points, Daniels at 24, Barkley at 21.5. So I'm willing to take a stab on that as well. And that's about it. I mean, we don't have a whole lot else tonight. It's pretty straightforward in my opinion. My favorite captains, I'll go back over it one more time. It's going to be Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Noah Brown are going to be my 4 favorite captains. I also am going to be playing some Brian Robinson at captain. Probably not getting to the quarterbacks at captain a ton, but definitely like how my lineups look with a double kicker or at least one kicker. I'm going to be prioritizing the kickers tonight. They're only going to be about 20% owned. I'll probably be closer to 30 to 33% on the kickers. And that's going to do it. You guys have a great night tonight. Good luck. Win some cash.